Hello everybody and welcome back, or welcome to Fall Off Your Horse. Now we stop smiling for a moment. This video will mention alleged sexual harassment towards 17-year-old and NSFW depictions and conversations around fictional minors and fictional incest. And now we can smile again. As you've probably seen from the title of this video, we are talking about a vendor called Anime Bargains, and you probably haven't heard of them because their first convention was MCM May 2025. But before we ask ourselves, who are Anime Bargains, we must first ask ourselves, who are Angry Egg merch? The year is 2025 and you are looking for official and reasonably priced anime merchandise that doesn't have crazy shipping costs and isn't extortionately priced like at other conventions. You ask around and your friends tell you about Angry Egg merch, and from the surface they are perfect. On their website they have a crazy amount of fandoms. They have stuff from Sanrio to Blue Lock to Attack on Titan to Haikyuu to Bungo Stray Dogs. I think even Windbreaker. You know, a lot of stuff. They have official stuff and they have fan-made merch by one of their friends, which is really, really cute. You know? They're great. They're always having sales all the time and it's based in the UK and it's queer-owned, so, you know, seems like a good business, right? Welcome to a deep dive on the craziness of Angry Egg merch. My name is Villain, better known as falloffyourhorse.cos on other socials. If you'd like this video, please consider subscribing and hitting a like. I would love to see you again. If there's anything else you would like me to cover, please tell me on Instagram or tag me on TikTok or put it in the comments of this video. But anyway, let's get into it. So who even are Angry Egg merch? Unfortunately, I'm a little bit of an expert on this because I got really badly artistically fixated on everything that happened with them. They are a UK-based queer-owned business called Angry Egg merch with a really cute little logo. I'm going to try and put it here if I have a good version of it because my stories are all drawn over. And it is owned by Sai and their husband Cole, and they also have a cat that's always on the stories. I don't have a picture of this cat because their account has been taken down, but they have a cat. Remember that for later. Sai is the main one who ran the business, but Cole would occasionally do things like answer DMs or put coloured stickers on to like represent their pricing. Remember that for later. And Sai did all the main social media marketing. They racked up a whopping 24.4k on Instagram and I believe 17k on TikTok, which has now dropped to 22.3k and 16k respectively. So 16k on TikTok, 20 whatever it was on Instagram. I followed them for a long time. My script is down here, by the way. I'm really sorry. That's what I'm looking at down there. I did follow them for a while because they hosted a Bachelor figure giveaway. Bachelor from Blue Lock. As you can tell, I do like Blue Lock. There's Chigiri. My Blue Lock section is upstairs. That's so embarrassing. I saw the Bachelor figure giveaway, so I entered it. I unfortunately didn't win, and I kept following them just in case they did any other giveaways. They did not. I did buy a couple of key rings from them at MCM, I believe October 2024. So I've witnessed a lot of shit going down, and unfortunately I didn't screenshot everything because I didn't really anticipate this happening. And also didn't really anticipate being a YouTuber, but here we are. I've had to dig through my story archive and my group chats for a lot of the stuff. Unfortunately, you are going to have to take my word for a lot of things, so I'm going to try and say allegedly. But the screenshots that I do have are from my story, and some of them are kind of drawn over. I do apologise for that, as I shouldn't crack my knuckles on video. But yes, I have witnessed a lot of this stuff going down. My friends, my mutuals have also seen a lot of this going down. It was quite a big thing in the community. Like everybody used to talk about Angry Egg merch. They were at nearly every single convention. They were friends with a lot of my mutuals. They were quite friendly seeming on socials. But a lot of the posts that I am going to be referencing are unfortunately deleted by Angry Egg. I say a lot, it's 3. All the important stuff I do have screenshots, so because a lot of the things I do remember them because I sent them to my group chat, but I didn't screenshot it and send it. I sent the post directly, and because it's been deleted, it's gone. So one of the things that will drive businesses to bankruptcy is unfortunately the economy, and Angry Egg merch was no exception. One of the first things that really hit them was changes to EU shipping. I'm not a business owner, so I don't really understand it, but basically it became really difficult and really expensive to ship things to the European Union because the UK is not part of that anymore. There's another artist I follow, Nekato404, I believe, and she was saying that like shipping a poster was gonna cost like a crazy amount, and it's just like a piece of paper. So most businesses in the UK or like other countries were stopping shipping to the European Union altogether. A lot of them said that they're going to like hold off from doing it, or they might like raise their shipping prices, but then like most places just stopped entirely. And obviously the European Union has a whole lot of countries, so that took a major hit to their finances and their profits and their sales. That's what I meant to say, their sales. Because, you know, multiple countries are ordering from you and then suddenly they can't anymore. You're gonna lose a whole lot of money. Around the same time, they were also eligible for VAT. Again, I'm not a business owner, I don't understand VAT, but essentially, I'm going to read the overview from the gov.uk website. VAT, value added tax, is a tax added to most products and services sold by VAT registered businesses. Businesses have to register for VAT if their VAT taxable turnover, tongue twister, is more than £90,000. They can also choose to register if their turnover is less than £90,000. So they were eligible for, I think, £20,000. No, not £20,000, 20%. I believe that they put a post out saying that no matter how much money they make, they have to pay 20% VAT. So I think that even if they didn't make money, they still had to pay. I don't know. But basically, they couldn't keep all the money they were making. And they had to owe the government a lot of money. They were very, very open about these situations, and they were very, very open about struggling for money. They used to put out like please share posts. I'm probably going to put one here as I'm going to read one in a minute, and I don't know how because that text is so small. Oh my lord. And they were very open about having to raise their prices to make up for the VAT and the EU losses, which I do think is quite understandable, especially because like a lot of this merchandise is from Japan, so it's having to be bought and then shipped over and then sold out. So that is quite costly. Obviously, a business is not free. It does cost to run a business, especially when things are, you know, being imported. So they had to raise their prices a little bit. I believe it was like a standee went from £12 to £15. It wasn't like a crazy jump, but like they were just very, very open about it. Even though some of these prices were not valid. Oh, I didn't even read all of my script. A lot of people already thought that their prices were a bit steep, and this pushed a lot of people over the edge. Standees that were £10 in Forbidden Planet were being sold for £12 and raised to £15 on their website, and people figured that their money was better spent elsewhere. And now I have the please share post. And it's very, very small, so I'm going to have to get up close and personal. So it says, please share. We've tried to hold on, but at this stage, there is nothing else we can do. To stay open, we must make at least £10,000 by the end of this month. Yes, I know that is a lot. We have put a 20% off on all orders over £20 to give you all a bit of a discount and to try and make up as much as we can. So many of you adore this business and we love it too. We'll get through this together. No, we'll get through this, but we need your help. So, you know, they were trying to drive up their sales by putting on this 20%, but this was around Christmas time when people don't really have money to freely spend on a lot of things because, you know, they have to get, like, all the presents together, they have to get, like, Christmas dinner, they have, you know, loads of shit. It's Christmas, you know, it's time to spend money. And having to put having a goal of £10,000 be put completely on your consumers is kind of crazy. I do understand, like, having to set goals, but basically saying, like, this business is going to crumble unless you give us £10,000. Spend money here. Kind of crazy. Basically, this £10,000 is a real nail in the coffin for them. A lot of mutuals that considered themselves friends or really close to Angry Egg Merch were feeling driven away by this constant, like, need for more and more money. And this, unfortunately, was just the beginning. Over the next few months, their posts basically began to resemble begging. They were making their followers feel guilty for not buying from them, which eventually led to driving them away. Their friends felt uncomfortable by the constant onslaught of please share, please spend money, please give, you know, buy from us. And it was just basically an onslaught of demands to take part in, like, this sale as well. Because they were putting sales on, they were doing bundles, they were doing all sorts of things to try and encourage people to spend more money, but then they kept buying more and more pre-orders. And while I do understand having a variety of stock to sell, if you're not selling like all this kinds of stuff, it was like standees and keyrings, they had some plushies, they had like there was like a towel or something. Like, they had a lot of, just bit my tongue, they had a lot of crazy shit. I only really looked at the Blue Lock stuff because I was only really interested in collecting Blue Lock stuff at the time. They didn't have anything JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. They didn't really have anything Chainsaw Man, or if they did, I didn't want it. So I only really saw Blue Lock. And like, the prices were quite steep when like I said, I've only bought 2 key rings from them, and that's only because I hadn't spent any other money at MCM London, or like very, very little money. But I usually buy my stuff online. I also buy from Japan myself on Mercari. That's where like all my shit is from, really. So yeah, they were like, buy this deal, buy this bundle. They had like a bundle, and it was like badges and standees and this and keyrings and this and that, worth 100 and something pounds, but we're gonna sell it for 80, you know, shit like that. Which is a good way to get business, but people weren't spending money, and then they were just buying more and more pre-orders, which were then costing them more and more money, but then nobody was buying them, you know. It was very infuriating for a lot of people to see them putting up more and more on their website when they weren't shifting the stock they already had. And again, this was around like Christmas and December time and like January. So nobody has money to freely spend during this period. I remember one time they put up one of these please share posts asking for money, and there was a big kickoff in the comments because somebody was criticizing them for always asking for money while the prices were so high. And then some people backing up Angry Egg merch, including some like quite big creators. And then some people were backing up like this random guy. Like, he was just like a no-face, no-name account. Obviously I don't have proof of that because the posts are gone, but you would just have to take my word for it. But like, why would I let you know? Around this time they asked for applicants for like an affiliate kind of thing, where they would send you some merchandise for free, and then you would make a video about it. Basically, you know, it's, people do things like that, like contact lens people, unique Queso, whatever the fuck they're called. Or is that the clothes one? You know what I mean. Contact companies all the time are sending free contacts to cosplayers, so then they make videos and then, you know, get free ads. It's like the creator pass system at conventions. Sorry, skin picking. I did apply for it because I did want free merchandise, but unfortunately this partnership didn't even go through because of what I am now about to talk about. So now we are getting into the territory of the disclaimer I put at the beginning of the video, and this is where my sources really do come through. And this is where I get my script out because I get to read. You get to listen to me be dyslexic. So on the 19th of February, things changed for the very, very worse. Instagram user _pandakai_ posted a series of stories alleging some crazy thing about Angry Egg merch and took the community on a wild ride. This was at like nearly midnight, and I was staying up all night. I was DMing people, I was seeing screenshots, I was posting screenshots, I was trying to look into things myself. It was a crazy night. Archive of Our Own also went down at this point when we needed proof. Like, it was just madness. So it's a series of posts. I will have them up so you can read with me and make fun of how dyslexic I am. So the first one says, I never thought I'd be making a public post like this, but since my friends shopped from them, I feel obligated to. Do not support at Angry Egg merch. On a business level, they are extremely unprofessional. They post people's comments that criticize them on their stories. I forgot to mention that. That was when the person was like, you're always begging for money, but your prices are so high. They put it on the story and basically encouraged people to like attack them. One of these in the past was someone asking them not to let their cats sit on the unpackaged plushie stock due to allergies and uncleanliness. They post regularly about not being able to pay their bills or eat. They said one time that they can't even afford a Tesco meal deal. And guilt trip people to keep their business afloat. But these aren't even the main reasons I'm making these posts. It is far worse. And then we get into the crazy shit. On a personal level, the owners were the first people my partner met when he joined the community at 17. One of the owners has tried to feel my partner up at a con a year after when they were 18 and said, if you didn't turn around, I would have grabbed your ass. My partner has been scared to ever talk about this to anyone. This same person is a nonce, and I have proof backing this up. If you're not from the UK, a nonce means paedophile, somebody who likes children. Here's some of their reposts from their personal Twitter account, where they also repost things on the business account. Not very hard to find. And then I'm going to put censored versions up because it's actually really gross and I feel quite icky and sticky having this on my laptop. Especially the one on the bottom. Oh, also on the top screenshot where he's got the like cat lingerie on, that picture was requested by this account. I don't know what the account's called, but like, you know, the... like, you have your username, which mine will be like Fall Off Your Horse, and then it has like the name, which mine will probably be like villain, I don't know. So it's half algorithm, half deity. And then the next screenshot has like a couple more from Twitter. I know one's from Twitter and then some are from, I believe this is Tumblr. And there's a screenshot of somebody called Chuyas, which is also a name on the Tumblr screenshots. And it says 40-plus-year-old Dilf Dazai from Bungo Stray Dogs fucking the absolute shit out of 18-year-old babysitter Chuya. And then MILF Lover 5252 replied, you know, big age gap is disgusting. And then half algorithm, half deity said, oh no, MILF Lover 5252 says big age gaps are disgusting. Guess I gotta make Dazai 50 plus now instead. And then it goes to Tumblr. And one says, look up the definition. Okay, any visual depiction of a minor, a person who has not reached the age of consent, engaging in sexually explicit activity. You know, literally what y'all defending. And then Chuyas says, eye roll emoji. And there is always the argument of like 16-year-olds in NSFW content, but unfortunately 16 wasn't his limit. He went younger than that. Anyway, so this is coming from Panda Kai. I'm probably just going to say Kai. I don't know their actual name. I should probably check that. But they said he has actively posted about enjoying and writing underage sex content containing rape and have defended himself in ask boxes by saying it's just fiction, it doesn't count. People write non-con/abuse to process trauma, so I not comment on that. However, paedophilia has no excuse if you're actively getting off to it. He's clearly attracted to it. And then there are some pieces from his Tumblr. And Anonymous says, 27-year-old Dazai telling everyone his new boyfriend is actually 21, but babyface Chuya is 16. And Chuya said, why stop at 27? Don't be shy. Let's make him 40 plus. Anonymous said, hey Anon, tell us who this lolly Shota artist is so the rest of us can follow them. Thanks. And then Chuya said this. Lolly Shotacon is disgusting stuff. We don't want to get involved in that. Anonymous said, trans femboy Chuya. I'm talking really quietly because I'm worried my neighbours are going to hear this, but they're not even going to know what it means. And also because it's gross and I'm self-conscious. It's gross. I hate talking about this. Trans femboy Chuya in a cute little sundress, pretending to be a cute little innocent nanny, but is really wearing his shortest dress he owns to tempt Dilfsai to fuck his virgin pussy into oblivion in his office. And Chuya added to this saying, no panties, so when he bends over, he shows off everything. That is so gross. Oh my god. Then there's another one asking, how old was Ryu when she first had sex with Mori though? I'm assuming this is Bungo Stray Dogs, but I'm not into Bungo Stray Dogs, so I don't know. And Chuya said 18 because that's how old she was when he picked her up off the streets. But believe me, if she was younger, he would have been even more keen to make her his. Nonce. Anonymous said, they're fictional characters. Here's a question. If someone's actively attracted and aroused by a drawing of a young girl who's clearly underage in a sexual light, does that make them a completely safe and sane citizen? Would you trust them around children? And Chuya said, again, they're fictional characters. And when these were like the initial posts that came out on Panda Kai's story, and when I say the community exploded, I mean exploded. Like, it was crazy. I was getting so many DMs from people because when they first came out, I posted them on my story and I was like, if this like isn't them, like I take it back and I'm sorry, but like this is crazy. And then people were like, no, it's them. And I was getting sent so much proof. I was having so many conversations about it. Like, I've never been so social in my life. If you know me, I'm very bad at responding to DMs because I'm very shy and I'm convinced that everybody hates me. but then people are gonna hate because I don't respond. But anyway, it doesn't make sense in my head. It doesn't have to make sense. It's just, you know, it's just stupid. And like people were digging through so many accounts. They were like messaging Angry Egg, and there was like screenshots about it. They were like digging through the Angry Egg merch accounts to like look for more and more proof. A couple of days before this came out, Angry Egg, maybe even the day before, I don't know, but the Angry Egg's like main account posted on Instagram, there's these little like ask yours boxes, and somebody will put up a prompt and it's like, what's your taste in fictional men? And that is the example that I'm using because that is what Angry Egg posted. And they had a couple of adults, and then they had Rayo from Blue Lock, and Rayo from Blue Lock is underage. Why is he your taste in fictional men when he's a child? It took a while for Angry Egg to put out a statement, and Sai, the owner, claimed that the account wasn't theirs and all the information going around was false, and I'm going to read this statement now. Very serious story. I have seen the post made about me and the business. My Twitter is not the one being shared around. If you think I'm unprofessional, that is a-okay, but for these serious allegations to be made about me, it is unfair. I'm not too sure about the other stuff, so I'll try and talk to those involved as they've really concerned me. And as soon as the statement went out, or no, as soon as the call out came out, half algorithm, half deity was privatized. And I now have the username, me when I don't look at my own screenshots sometimes. To be fair, I've been scripting this for like a week. And the account is Chiggeries, but with an extra H, which matches the Chuyas account. Yeah, a lot of people just weren't convinced by this statement. Like, it was very, very obvious that it was them. And some people had followed Half DE to get as much evidence as they could before it went private, because if you're private, people who follow you can still see all your shit. And yes, it brings me to my second reason why people weren't convinced, and why people were convinced that this was Angry Egg's account. Do you remember earlier when I said that Angry Egg merch had a cat? Guess what Chuyas was posting? The account that Angry Egg claimed wasn't theirs was posting Angry Egg's cat. This is actually genuinely hilarious. Like, imagine if I said that this YouTube account wasn't mine, but it has my shelf in the background, and my shelf has been in my TikTok videos, it's been on my Instagram story. Like, how good. Imagine saying, this account isn't mine, it just happens to post my cat. I can't get my head around it. It posts their own cat. And then because of this, and also nobody believing them, they did put out a statement saying this. Get ready for some more bullshit. After talking with some people about the situation, I want to say a few things. I've now clarified the Twitter being shared around is my husband's. This is Cole. I've had a discussion with him about it, and now we're going to look into therapy. This won't excuse what has been shared, but please know I'm going to do all I can to fix this. I've also discussed the mention of assault with the person who made the stories to get some clarity. I was never aware of this incident. I have no words. All I can do is apologise on the behalf of my ignorance. I'm sorry from the bottom of my heart. I understand if people think I'm unprofessional and have issues with the way I run my business. That is a-okay. But hearing all of this has really, well, shocked me. And then in my screenshot, I said I take back my hypothetical apology, they admit it. And then, you know, you may be thinking, that's quite sad. Due to their husband's actions, their business is going to take a crazy hit. You know, they're going to have to shut down because their husband's a nonce. What if I told you that Angry Egg merch, or Sai, knew about it the entire time and was just as bad? What if I told you that? What would you do? Because Sai was also saying some crazy things on Twitter about some guy from Persona. I've never played it, but there is an account called Daz I Fucker, and Sai goes by Von on this account. On this account, they say, I need to breed this man, and it's a kid from Persona who is apparently a child. Lovely. And we can tell that this is definitely Angry Egg merch, because the same pronouns, Rayo kin, and Sai claims to kin Rayo. And then right next to that, Cole, heart hands emoji, Very suspicious. But is this just a coincidence? Maybe this Vaughn person is also in love with some guy named Cole. Maybe they're in a polyamorous relation. No. Anyway. So. On the... Ooh, I don't know if this is backwards because it's American or not. I'm assuming not. I'm going to say the 8th of February 2024. Vaughn retweets something from half algorithm, half deity, saying, "Go read. My husband strikes again with a delicious fic." And yeah, it links to Cole's Archive of Our Own. And in case you really needed proof that this is definitely Sai and Cole, there is wedding pictures on this account. Wedding pictures on this account of Sai and Cole from Angry Egg Much. Wedding pictures. But yeah, it's not your account, is it? Definitely not your account. But yeah, I was kind of shitting myself about making this video. I talked about it with my friends a lot because like I don't want to get sued. I was going to say allegedly to a lot of it, but like their faces are literally on the account. You can't deny it. Your faces and your names are on the account. Your cat is... I can't get over the cat. I want to take a brief detour to talk about Cole's Archive of Our Own. If you don't know what Archive of Our Own is, it's usually like abbreviated to AO3, and it's a fanfiction website. You can just read anything you want on it. It's just like a little archive. You can post anonymously, you can post publicly, you can bookmark things. Those bookmarks can be private or public, you know. There's all sorts of crazy shit on here. There's, you know, there's crazy shit and then there's some nice stuff. But unfortunately, the example I have for you today is some crazy shit. So this is a fic written on the 22nd of December 2024, and it is a... Sorry, a van just parked outside and scared the crap out of me. And it is called Nocturnal Animals, and it is a Blue Lock fanfiction involving Rin Itoshi and Sai Itoshi, who are two brothers from Blue Lock, and some of the tags include loss of virginity, and possessive sex. Is incest even a tag? Incest isn't even a tag, but okay. And while I was trying to find this Archive of Our Own, while I was trying to look on Cole's AO3 account, AO3 actually went down, and I was so annoyed. I had to wait so long to dig into my proof. He bookmarked this fanfiction on Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve. Is that not the biggest wake-up call of your life? If you are reading Blue Lock underage incest fanfiction on Christmas Eve? But a question you may ask yourself was, is Cole doing this in secret? Could Sai somehow pretend they didn't know anything about it? Because obviously they go by Vaughn on that Twitter account. Well, if we look at Cole's Instagram account, Cole's Instagram account is Trick or Fucking Treat, and there's a picture of middle school, Chigiri, middle school, he's like 13, and it says baby girl. There's a picture of Chigiri in a public bath with the other boys, and it says, "I've got lots of thoughts and none of them are holy." That's posted on Main. The baby girl one was on his close friends. This one was not. There is also a repost of a cosplay of Chigiri in lingerie, which one is gross. Two, why would you post that? And he reposted that on Main. So, you know, when Sai said, I didn't know about his Twitter, I didn't know he was doing all this. He was doing it on Instagram. He was literally doing it on Instagram. Like, how, unless you somehow have your partner, the one you are married to, blocked on Instagram, how would Sai not know? But yes, and guess what Cole did immediately after getting called out for it? He posted Chigiri. I'm laughing because it's horrible. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because I'm uncomfortable. But yeah, he got called out for reposting CP of this character, and then immediately posted him on Instagram with the caption, him, and then 3 of those little emojis. I'm laughing because I'm uncomfortable. And then you know, he's posted that. He's all like calm, cool, nonchalant. And then on Twitter, he's posting, TLDR, I got cancelled IRL for reposting NSFW of fictional minors and lost literally all of my friends. Smiley face. Oh, and also got falsely accused of SA. So yeah, you could say things are a little rough like right now. Mob mentality and cancel culture is actually fucking insane. I don't know what to do. I'm so fucking angry and frustrated. This is so fucking ridiculous. Liars will get what's coming to them, by the way. That's all I'll say. And then the little... bless me. You better say bless you. And then the little nails emoji. Oh, also interesting that he said liars when there's proof. Okay. So after all that, after he was raging on his Twitter, Cole put out another statement. The allegations made against me are not true. I've never assaulted anyone. If I made a comment that was interpreted to be inappropriate, then I apologise. The type of content I consume is not reflective of my real life views. I understand people may not see it this way, but there is a line between fiction and reality. I apologise if this has made anyone uncomfortable. And I put it on the screenshot, like this purple section, but I do find it very, very interesting that Sai is trying to make Cole take the hit on this. Like Cole, like Sai was not only an enabler, but just as bad. I don't have as much on Sai as I do Cole because I think that account was also private. And like I don't have Twitter, so I can't go and dig into it myself. Unfortunately, when Elon Musk took over it, I did get rid of my Twitter. But the account will be private now, so I won't be able to dig into it anyway. But like they were reposting his AO3 and like supporting him. Like they knew, even if Sai wasn't posting that stuff themselves, they still knew about it and enabled it by not doing anything about it. But yeah, so like any money that they still go on to make is going to benefit Cole. So people aren't really gonna want to spend money on your business. But they tried to get around this by putting a flat out 50% off everything because they're trying to get rid of all their stock. But they've said that they're going out of business. It's on like their website and stuff. Their Instagram account only posts stock that they're trying to get rid of. They're trying to like sell bundles. They're basically just trying to shift everything because they're going out of business. And then they went on to Vinted and are selling things for an increased price. That 50% off does not exist on Vinted. They are still posting on their Vinted to this day because I do look for like Haikyuu, Chainsaw Man and Blue Lock stuff on Vinted. And I do always come across this account. It's called SYMBC00. Do not buy from them. But yeah, they said we're not vending at any other conventions because we're shutting down. Don't worry about it, guys. And then a photo, which I'm going to put here, started circulating Instagram stories again. It is somebody in a blonde wig and somebody in a red wig, and they're both wearing black masks. However, if you know Angry Egg Merch and you know Sai and Cole, that is them. 100%, that is them. I'm going to throw out an allegedly, like we know it's them. Because they also had Angry Egg Merch's signature little colourful sticker, pricing stickers, because most vendors will just have like a tiny little sticky rectangle and it will say like £9, £25, £15. But Angry Egg Merch just have like a little cutout and it will say like green equals £2, blue equals £6, purple equals £20, you know, stuff like that. And then they just go and put the stickers on all the products, which I'd say is quite a smart way to do it. I'm lazy, I'd probably also do that. But not a lot of other vendors really do this. I think they're genuinely the only people I've seen do this. So yeah, this random anime bargains pops up. Yeah, they were using that sticker system. They've set up a new Instagram account. It has Nagi from Blue Lock as the profile picture. Obviously it has that Blue Lock tie-in. They haven't posted anything as of right now, but like we know it's you. I can see from the photos that is you, but like it's just so infuriating because they're treating us like we're idiots. They're treating us like we can't just look with our eyes and say, yes, that's you. That is your cat. That is your wedding picture. That is your favorite character. Like there are just so many things. Like even if their wedding picture wasn't on there, we would know it's them. Like there's just so many things. And like they're just treating us like we're idiots. People are gonna go on Vinted and they're gonna see this merch at full price, mind you. They're not gonna know the lore on this account because they're not called Angry Egg Merch. They've got a completely different name. So people are going to see this and buy from them. So they are getting the full price from Vinted. They're getting the anonymity of Vinted. And then they're going to cons as this anime bargains. Like acting like we don't know. But like, I have eyes. I can see that it's you. And it's just, why are you treating me like I'm stupid? Genuinely, why are you treating me like I'm stupid? Like, I know it's you. But all I'm going to say is, Cyan Cole, I know you're not watching this, but on the very, very slim chance that you are, you have made fools of yourselves, and I hope that you're ashamed, and I hope that this haunts you for the rest of your life, and I hope that you never make back all the money that you could have. I hope that your stock sits and rots and gains dust in your living room, and you can't shift it, no matter what you try. But again, they're not watching, so I'm just going to move on and say thank you so much for watching. I know that this is a very long video, but I felt like I had to talk about it, especially with other conventions popping up. And yeah, I don't really know how to end this because we've just been talking about some crazy shit, but I'll see you in the next one. There may be a thing here telling you to watch another video. I don't know. I haven't edited it yet, but yes, I will see you in the next one. Bye.